And that leads us to our series finale, week 5. We've talked about everything, what the battle is, strategies that he uses, his nature, strategies that we can use each week. Now, the benefits. What is the benefits of this diabolical war? Everybody with me? That's where we're going to spend a little bit of time today. And to start off with the benefits of the diabolical wars is, you guys ever in class or even in RTD, because from up here you can see, you ever fell asleep? Right? You ever fell asleep? And the scariest thing is what? You're falling asleep and then you get that little head nod. You think you're falling off of the Empire State Building, right? And after that, bro, you are alert. And maybe sometimes I feel bad admitting this when I'm driving. If it's after a long day of service or I didn't get enough sleep, I didn't get whatever, I'm being I see some looks, I'm not a bad driver, guys. The looks that I see are very concerning. I'm a good driver, but in those times, if I get to a red light and I doze off a little bit and somebody honks, bro, at that point, bro, I am wired. Meaning you turn on the AC, you blast windows down, even if you're on the highway, you blasting whatever music you're playing. You look like I can't do it. You look like a madman driving down the highway, right? Because you're I have to be alert until I get to my destination, right? Because that little nod is oh, things could have gone bad, really quickly. And that is the benefit of the diabolical wars, is these wars achieve with us the spirit of continual alertness and readiness. These wars achieve within us the spirit of continual alertness and readiness. Meaning, once you've experienced this battle, once you acknowledge that you're in the midst of battle, you're no longer thinking everything is safe. You are alert. Just like the example I give, when you first doze off, you get up, you're oh, okay, I could be falling asleep any second. Let me lock in. Let me do whatever it takes for me to stay awake. Everybody with me, right? So this is the same thing. Once you experience those battles, right? Once whatever the passion or the vice you're under, once you experience that and truly recognize it as a diabolical war, as spiritual warfare, not as just something that you're just going through, it is something that came from the devil, and you have got to seek Christ, right, to get through it. Now, moving forward, everything is alert when it comes to that thing. And it even opens your eyes to other things that can be causing you down the wrong path. Are you guys with me? So the fact that you are experiencing these wars will make you fully alert, will help you with your continual alertness and readiness. And one of the ways it does this is it helps you find your purpose. It helps you recognize you need a purpose. It helps you understand that you cannot be moving all willy-nilly without a purpose. There was a sermon one of my brothers sent to me just last week, actually, that was related to this. And what the father was teaching about was saying, when we go on social media, right, we are most susceptible because why do we go on social media? I can't tell you the reason why I go onto social media. I just sometimes my thumb is programmed to go, I can do it without even looking at my phone because I know where each app is located. I'm not looking for anything specific. I'm not looking for this and this and that. I'm just going there just because to go without a purpose. You see, when you move without a purpose, you open yourself up to all the wars, all the temptations. On social media right now, the example I'm using, it's just muscle memory, right? You go on Instagram, TikTok, the Facebook, Twitter, whatever. Whatever app you go to, you're just looking there for entertainment. You don't know what's going to come up. So what the enemy will do in this situation, they can throw whatever at you because you're not looking for anything. You're walking without a purpose. You see, this is why going through these diabolical wars is important. And the first week, one of the main things that we said is these are battles that exist. We can't move on to week 2, week 3, week 4. We can't talk about the nature of the attributes of the devil, his strategies, how we can overcome them without first acknowledging these are battles that take place. Everybody with me, right? So it helps you find a purpose, walk with a purpose. And as Christians, what is our purpose? What is your purpose? We call ourselves Christians. I say, yes, I'm an Orthodox Christian. I believe in God. I love God. But somebody asks you, what is your purpose on this earth? The answer could be found in 1 Corinthians 10:31. St. Paul says, therefore, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God. Therefore, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to the glory of whom? God. Brothers and sisters, that, as Christians, is our purpose. And whatever we do, our job, our purpose, our means for waking up each morning is to glorify God. It doesn't say only glorify God when you come to church. It doesn't say only glorify God on Sundays. It doesn't say only glorify God in your relationship. It says, and whatever you do, do it for the glory of God. You see, and then St. Maximus of Turin, he continues to say, he wishes then for all our actions to be accomplished with Christ as a companion and witness, that we may do good things for him as the author and avoid what is evil for the sake of his fellowship. One who knows that Christ is his companion is ashamed to do evil and good things. However, Christ is our helper, and in the face of evil things, he is our defender. When you understand that your purpose to glorify God, this is how you start moving. These are the decisions you make. So you'll start to understand, hey, even if I'm doing evil things, I have Christ to defend me, to help me overcome that. And if I'm doing good things, who are we in fellowship with? Christ himself. You see, that's why we acknowledge that the battle, an existing battle, we are in the midst of it. And once you understand, right, your purpose is to glorify God, that's the benefit that you reap from that battle. Because at that point, you're alert. You've experienced the battle. Because you've experienced the battle, you will be alert and you will find your purpose instead of walking around purposeless. There's a TV show that I used to watch back when I was like high school, I want to say. And it was like a really nerdy, geeky show about like superheroes. And this show is like actual humans. They have abilities, they have powers. Some people can read minds. Some people can fly. Some people their power is to take other people's power. And there was one lady, her power was when she sleeps, she dreams into the future. So when she falls asleep, the dream is what? The future. And throughout the show, she's always saying like, oh man, this is like, you think it's a blessing, but it's actually a curse, whatever. And then there were people who ask her, hey, go to sleep so you can dream the future so we know what to expect. Right? Because what's her ability? What's her ability? Yeah, her dreams are she dreams into the future. She knows what's going to happen through her dreams. But there's one thing that she says. She says, my sleep has got to be earned, or she won't be able to dream the future or whatever. And then that got me thinking, have I earned my sleep in my day-to-day life? We just said, what's our purpose? What's our purpose? And whatever we do what? Glorify God. Have I earned my sleep? Have I glorified God in all that I do? Have I glorified him through my work? Have I glorified him as myself as a son? Have I glorified him as a brother? Have I glorified him as like a Christian? Have I glorified him as a stranger walking by? Ask yourselves, have I earned my sleep as a father? Have I earned my sleep as a mother? Have I earned my sleep as a husband? Have I earned my sleep as a wife? Have I earned my sleep as a student? Part of the workforce. Have I done my almsgiving? In all that I do, have I glorified God? Ask yourselves, have I earned my rest, my sleep? And it's important to answer this question because whatever amount of days you're giving in your life, right? You're given a certain amount of days. You ask yourself that question every single time before you go to sleep. Have I earned my sleep today? Did I glorify God in all that I did today? And whether it was because I was eating, whether it was because I was drinking, like I said in 1 Corinthians, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do falls like that. That includes everything. Have I glorified God? So now you start taking one of those at a time. They start piling up. They start piling up. They start piling up. You know what the question that's going to answer all those, have I earned my sleep? Have I earned my rest? At the end of your life, it will answer the question, have I earned my rest in his kingdom? All those single days questions of you thinking, have I earned my sleep? Did I glorify him today? Later, when it comes to this is the week of Deborah's 8th, no? The end times. The Gospel of Matthew talks about the sermon he gave on the Mount of Olives. Will he say, yes, my child, you have glorified me as your data analyst. You have glorified me as a sister you were. You have glorified me as a brother. Because most of us now, like, when it comes to rest and sleep, we feel like we've earned our sleep. We've earned our rest after a long day of work. Meaning you had work, and then you had to do groceries, and then you had to, the parents had to take care of the kids. I'm not saying those are bad things, by the way. As a parent, of course, you should be watching your kids, taking care of your kids. You should be working. But did you glorify God through that? That's the question. That's what we're called to do. And whatever that we do, glorify him. But I fear for most of us, our rest comes from the toils of the world. Our rest, we feel like we've earned our rest because we had a long day of work. We had a full day's worth of work. We had a lot of assignments to do. Because we did them, we felt like we rest. Again, do those assignments. Make sure you do well at your job. But make sure you also do what? Glorify God through it. See, that's what we're called to do. So honestly, nightly, ask yourselves, have I earned my sleep? Have I earned my rest? Have I earned my slumber? And then, those start to the tack on. And then it will answer the question of, have I earned my place in the kingdom of heaven? Have I earned my eternal rest? Eternal rest, sorry. Everybody with me? So again, let's not get caught up in the toils of the world instead of seeking righteousness. And then moving forward, again, this is how diabolical wars, right? The spiritual battles that we face on a daily basis, this is how they benefit us. They make sure we are alert. They make sure we are spiritually cautious in all that we do. The next thing is, there was a clip, again, these type of things are just like, I feel like it's just God putting these things on my timeline or just making me remember shows that I haven't seen in a while. There was just a random clip that popped up on my feed. And it was a guy, it was like, I think it was on a podcast. I didn't even follow up, but it was just the idea was, it was like, oh, this, I feel like is my spiritual life. The guy was talking about how if you choose to, there's parameters that he sets. He said, if it's less than a mile, right? He said, I'll walk it. If it's more than a mile, I'll drive. If it's like 2 miles. So the paradox is, it's gonna take you less time to go 2 miles than 1 mile, right? And how he relates that is saying, if things are going really good, great. If things are going like really bad, everything is just upside down, then that activates us to get active, that galvanizes us to fix that situation. But then if we're in that little in-between spot, not too good, but not too bad either. It's livable. He gives the example of like, there's your friend, if he has a job that he genuinely hates or can't stand, but it has good benefits. His boss is not that evil. Like, he gets along with his boss. Good. It's a job that he hates. It's not too good, but it's also not too bad. That in-between spot of complacency, that in-between spot of not feeling the need to grow is what the podcast mentioned. And what that does for our spiritual lives is, again, if we go through these diabolical wars, is it teaches us not to be complacent within your spiritual life. This is for those of us that want to live 2 lives, right? I can come to church on Sundays. I can show up here, but then I want to do like my worldly stuff as well. As long as I'm doing this, I'm good. And the thing is, it's your willingness not to change is where you're stuck in that complacent spot, because you feel like the things that you're doing here crosses out the things that you're doing on the outside. That feeling of complacency. And Christ, God does not like the complacent. And a complacent Christian, most of the times, is a Christian that has 2 lives. Brothers and sisters, a Christian cannot have 2 lives. She has 1 life. 9 times out of 10, we tend to separate them, right? My work life is going well, but my spiritual life is going down. My social life is going bad, but my spiritual life is excelling. My family life is going bad, but my spiritual, you can't separate those. A Christian does not have 2 lives. You can't have 2 lives. At that point, we talked about serving 2 masters in the gospel a couple weeks ago. For those of us that are living double lives, God does not like the complacent, and God does not like lukewarm. That's lukewarm Christianity. If we look into Revelation chapter 3, verses 15 through 16, just as a background, Revelations 2 and 3, it's just letters written to different cities with different churches. So in Revelations 3, this is a letter that was written to the church in Laodicea. I may be mispronouncing Laodicea or Laodicea. He says, I know your works, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish you were cold or hot, so then because you are lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will vomit you out of my mouth. God does not like lukewarm. And that's that in-between spot that we just talked about. It's not too hot, it's not too cold. Our spiritual life is not too good, but it's not too bad either. So let me stay in that little comfortable zone. God does not like lukewarm. A Christian can't have 2 lives. You can't live 2 lives. It's going to be a lot for you to, you're either deluding yourself into thinking that you are living a righteous life, or you're just in pure denial of it. A Christian cannot have 2 lives. And then it continues on Revelations 3:19. It reads, as many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Therefore, be zealous and repent. This is to that church that was written to them saying, hey, you can't be lukewarm. The same way I love, I can also rebuke, right? So, be zealous and repent. This is what we talked about, how to overcome the diabolical wars. Even earlier today, we talked about in the span of 24 hours, just in this church, there were about 5 sacraments performed. Start living a sacramental life. Repent. After repent, you come and you confess and start taking the holy blood and the flesh of Christ. The church is always inviting you to do those things because those are the things that will make you overcome these diabolical wars. Those are things that will help you with these diabolical wars. If Christ is with us, who could be against us? We're truly saying that is the actual flesh. That is the actual blood of Christ. Why would we not want to be in communion with him? But you see, you start recognizing that you're in the midst of battle. Again, these are the advantages that come with it. Because now, like, a sacramental life is like, maybe I can overcome it through this. You see, you're drawn closer to the church. For those of you that are here when the Holy Eucharist is out, what is that one mazmur everybody loves to hear? Let us draw what? Let us draw near. The church is inviting you, say, and even the mazmur is telling you to draw near to Christ. Are you guys with me? So the first thing, or the first advantage of overcoming, or the benefits of the diabolical wars, is these wars achieve within us a spirit of continual alertness and readiness. The second thing is these wars are a blessing through which we gain our crowns. These wars are a blessing through which we gain our crowns. And this is talking about our crowns in the kingdom of heaven. Now that may be like off-putting, but I think everybody here agrees that nothing good comes easy, right? Nothing good comes easy. We have got to put in the work. If you want that really high-paying job, you're going to have to grind in school. You're going to have to grind on those certificates. You're going to have to put all-nighters. Make sure you're set apart, no? If you really, really want to achieve whatever it is, you will put the time, you will put the effort, you will put the blood, the sweat, the tears to achieve that thing. But for some reason, when it comes to our spiritual lives, we want it easy. We want it handed to us. We want it while we're still doing the things that we want to do, while we're still adhering to the flesh. But when it comes to other things, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. If I want a job that pays $500,000, whatever, I'm going to have to put in $500,000 worth of energy to get that job, no? Now think about it, what our crown is. Think about whatever the highest paying job that you could ever imagine. That money is finite. That reward, earthly thing, is something that's going to, it will be done. Imagine the price that we have to pay, the work that we have to put in for a chance at eternity with our Father. That's why we have got to start looking at it. We think about this like, oh, just, I just want to be with God, kingdom of heaven. No. What you're understanding is like the little time you have here. And when I say little, I'm talking about like, let's say we live 80, 90 years, right? That's little time compared to eternity. That is think about it. Let's say you suffer for 80 to 90 years. Suffer meaning you don't adhere to your flesh. You tell your body no every single time, 80 to 90 years. But then you get just peace, love, and to be in his kingdom for all of eternity. Is that not, I don't even think that's a fair trade. I think we're getting a bargain here. A finite amount of resisting for infinite amount of love, infinite amount of peace, infinite of the sitting next to his throne in the kingdom. Is that not love from our Father? These are the wars of blessing which we gain our crown. And then the funny thing is, like we said it as the St. Maximus said it earlier, like he will help us get there. He is telling you guys, this is an open no quiz, an open no test. I will help you. Just follow me. I have all the answers written. I have instilled it in your heart, he tells you. It is written biblically. You have a conscience that tells you right from left, just for a little bit. Just let me see with the free will that I gave you out of love, if you love me back. That's what our Father is telling us. The majority of, like, what the world wants you to teach is, it teaches you, or he wants you to seek is, well, make sure you got that 401. So you can use it when you're 65. Make sure you start a business so you can have this money, whatever. Like for something that's going to be finite. And in week 1 we said, none shall be crowned except the one who conquered, and none shall conquer except the one who fights. There's no other way. There's no going around it. There's no going under it. The only way is through. And even going through, Christ is right along. He's right there with you. I don't think he's literally every Sunday, he offers us, the church offers his actual flesh, his actual blood, saying, come be in communion with Christ. Pope Shenouda continues to say, crowns, he also calls them medals, are not given in the war only to the soldiers who achieve victory, but also those who were injured, as long as they did not yield to the enemy and struggled against him. This is what we talked about last time, right? It's the righteousness is not in the fall. Righteousness is not even just not fall. Like, yes, you shouldn't fall, but if you fall, your righteousness is on you getting up. Whatever the temptation is, we're bound to fall. And the thing is, God loves us so much. He's like, I know you're going to fall. I know you're going to make a mistake. It's your nature. You can't help it. Out of love, I gave you free will, and you're going to do what you want, and sometimes you will fall. So in these wars, as long as we don't yield to the enemy, meaning saying, I am completely with you, we can get our crowns. It's the idea is to keep fighting. And even with armies here, right? People that come back injured, people that come back like with they get, what is it, the purple heart, they get some type of medal, right? I'm not familiar with it, but like they say, oh, you're a veteran. Thank you for all that you've done in the country. Now they came back with broken limbs. They've been attacked. Like some people come decapitated, right? But they're like, you fought until the very end. Thank you. Here's your medal. And that's what we're called to do. Fight until the very, very end. Are you guys with me? But I think the biggest thing when it comes to fighting and receiving our crowns is, you guys know, like a soldier, right? If he goes into war, he knows or she knows what's the punishment for losing the war. If you get caught up on war, what do you lose? What can you lose? You're out in battle. You're out in war. Like I'm talking about actual war here on earth. Your life. Because your life is at risk, you're going to fight like your life depended on it, because it does. And sometimes I think because when it comes to these diabolical wars, right, there's no like immediate punishment. You know what I mean? Like if I was to go touch fire right now, immediately I'll get punished. I'll feel the pain on my hand. Right? If I was to just be goofy and just decide to jump 2 stories out of the window, I will break something. Immediately, I know that's my punishment. Hey, I should have probably do that again because it hurted like the first time I did it. You see how the enemy tricks you to do it? Like when you do the things he wants you to do, when you fall into temptations, when you just get tricked into the things we talked about last week, as you start using sin and you cover it up with virtues. You see, in the moments, there's no like immediate punishment. There's not somebody like saying, slapping your hand saying, hey, don't do that. Maybe you're conscious, but like there's no immediate punishment. Because there's a lack of immediate consequence, we think everything is fine. We think everything is cool. Like everything is nice and dandy. But that's not the case, brothers and sisters. If we're not aware of these diabolical wars, we may not get immediate punishment, but the punishment that comes later is losing our crowns. Somebody may not come and slaps our hand saying, hey, don't do that. But at the end, come the end of times, this the week of Deborah's 8th, we will be left out of the kingdom. Are you guys with me? So these wars are blessings in which through we gain our crowns. So there's no need to fear them. These are things, dare I say, we should be excited for. These are things that we should be alert but look forward to. Because essentially, this is our keys to the kingdom. These battles is how we get to spend eternity with our Father. If somebody wrote down, right, let's say you're fresh out of college, they told you everything that you had to do, and at the end of the year, you would get whatever paying job for that you want, that you're looking for. I would bet like at least 70 to 80% of us will follow that thing to the T to make sure that we get that great high-paying job. Christ has promised us his kingdom. Christ has promised us a seat next to his throne. Christ has promised us the kingdom of heaven. And he's given us the instructions. And he knows that we will face battles. He knows who the adversary is. He said, I'm stronger than him. Trust me. Follow me. Here are some tools that you can overcome him with. In the Gospel of Luke and the Thanksgiving prayer, even in the Sacrament of Unction of the Sick, it was read yesterday. I give you the power to trample over the serpents and all the evil spirits. So he's given us power over him. Yet, we still find ourselves holding hands with the devil. So, first thing is, these wars achieve within us the spirit of continual alertness and readiness. Second, and with that, we talked about like finding your purpose, asking yourself, have I earned my what? Have I earned my? I want to hear everybody say it. Have I earned my sleep? That's a question all of us ought to be asking. And our purpose is what? And whatever we do, glorify whom? I want to hear everybody say, glorify. Thank you. Glorify him. All glory to him. And then we said, these wars are a blessing through we gain crowns. Now, the next thing is, And this is actually something that I got from STSA. Father Anthony had a series called Follow Me, the latter end of last year. And one of the weeks, I think it was week 4, week 5, he was talking about how we are responsible for our own brothers and sisters, right? And he threw out this statistic of how we don't invite people to church, right? He was referring to a book called Unchurched Next Door, right? And in this book, there was the study that they did. They said 7 out of 10 unchurched people have never been invited to come to church. So unchurched people means someone that doesn't go to church. Okay? So of the people that don't go to the 7 out of 10 of the unchurched people, the people that don't go to church, mind you, that's 70%, right? They say, nobody has ever invited me to come to church. Hold that statistics, right? So out of 100 people, how many people is that? 70, okay. A lot of math whiz here, okay? The following stat he gives is 82% of that group says somewhat or likely or very likely they would attend a church if somebody was to invite them. So now let me see who's really good at math. We have 70 people, right? What's 82% of 70? It's like between 5 and 6. I'm not that good. I did the math before when I was preparing. But let's just say for the sake of this example, let's put it at 55, right? 5.5. So from the 70 people, 55 of them say they're more likely to come to church if somebody would just, what? Invite them. Just say, hey, come to church. But the most heartbreaking statistics he gives is only 2% of Christians invite people to come to church. Only 2%. And the way he put it is like, forget the flip side is, that means 98% of Christians, they don't invite people to church, their friends to church. Ask yourselves, when was the last time I asked a friend of mine that I care about, right, to come to church? When was the last time the person that, hey, I got to check on him, I got to make sure he's good, that's my brother, that's my sister, I love her dearly, I love him dearly, but have you invited that person to church? See, this is one of the benefits of the diabolical wars. When you've been through it, you start seeing the some of the battles that you face and your brothers and your sisters. It makes you more compassionate. And when you're compassionate, you start thinking, what was the thing that helped me overcome it? Oh, it was the church. It was Christ. Hey, brother. Hey, sister. Why don't you come to church with me? You see, of the 100 people sample, or whatever the statistic they pulled, 55 people said they will be more likely to come. But only 2% of Christians are inviting them. See, not only can you save yourself, Christ through you can save somebody else. I don't want to, I really want to get that point across. I'm not saying, oh, go be out there and say, oh, I'm saved, so Christ saved me, I'm going to go save you. No. Christ can use you as a vessel. You can become an instrument for Christ for somebody else's saving, for somebody else's healing. So the people in your life, think about them. The people that you care about, the people that you say you love, your parents, if they're not regular churchgoers, your brothers, your best friends, somebody that may be lost, somebody that you haven't checked in on in a while. Hey, brother, hey, sister, hey, mom, hey, dad, hey, best friend. Right? Why gatekeep? It's not like there's a limited number of seats in the kingdom, right? It's not like, oh, I wish I can take you, but Christ only said I could only bring one. No, like Christ, trust me, there's a seat for everybody. We just have to go claim it. You see, all these things are benefits of the diabolical war. All these things are things that we get for fighting our enemy, for going through with the adversary. It's more than just us. And that's how loving and that's how powerful God is. He can use these same battles to do all the things that we're discussing right now. Everybody with me? Luke chapter 14, verse 23 said, Then the master said to the servant, and this is the parable in the banquet, Go out into the highways and hedges and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. That my house may be filled. Christ, God, our Father, our loving, all-powerful Father, nothing gives him more joy than when he sees his house full of his children. Like, and I mean, this could be said about parents too, especially the older you get, right? Well, what do parents want you to do more? Like my mom, my dad, after I moved out, what do they want me to do the most is like, Abi, that's my nickname at home. Abi, like, come home more. I'll be telling them, hey, I'm busy, I got work, I got church stuff, I got this. Yeah, make time. Come to our home. And I'm pretty sure parents can relate to that if you have kids that have moved out. All they want, parents, is for their kids to come home. That's the same thing our Father wants. He wants his children, all the children that he loves so much, every single one of you, every single one of us, to come into his house. And that's why it's important for the people that are close to you, the people that are within arm's reach, the people that are in your life, with boldness, with bravery, with courage, without any fear, you should be able to tell them to come to church. And the final thing that we're going to discuss is actually, there was a video that, this is from a newscast in like 1965. This is Paul Harvey. I want you guys to just watch this video. I think this is a good way to conclude the series. And then we'll come back. Let me just get the lights. Production, if we can play the video.
For the devil. If I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions. Just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure.
And then this video, he concludes it by saying, I will actually just keep doing what I'm doing now. So this is from 1965, but if you pay attention to he said a lot of things. All of the things that he said are things that we are seeing right now. He would say, I would substitute religion with psychology. One thing that he said, and I think this one is
If I...
Oh, he's trying to talk over me. That's crazy. But one thing that he said, I will make the good seem, the bad seem good, and the good seem square. Right? How many of that talks to a lot of us? We're scared to speak up to say something righteous because it might not be cool or not. You're in the minority. That's a spiritual battle right there. And then when I saw this, there was another video that I saw, and I had to check it for sure. I went to ChatGPT, right? And if you can have the slide up, I asked it the prompt, hey, ChatGPT, you guys know I'm very nice to AIs. I don't play around. I say my proper greetings because in case the machines take over, I'm on their good side. But I said, hey, ChatGPT, if you were the devil, how would you keep people as far away from God without realizing it? And ChatGPT said, that's a deep, thought-provoking question, but he starts listing these things. Mind you, this is just regular old ChatGPT. Says what? Distraction over destruction. So instead of destroying you, he'll keep you distracted. He says, twist the truth. How many times have we said, have we heard, especially in today's age, my truth, your truth, her truth, what's her name's truth, what's his name's truth? No, there is one objective truth, people. And then he says, encourage the thing we talked about. I did this, I promise, after I came up with my lesson. But it says, encourage complacency, meaning he wants you to stay in place. And I like to think ChatGPT is smarter than me. But he's saying things that Pope Shinoda wrote a while ago. He's saying things that the Bible is telling us and has been in existence for how long? Continues to read, promote moral relativism, meaning blur the lines between right and wrong. What used to, the thing that the Bible says right is no longer there's some blurred lines there. The newscast member, he said what? He says promote, marriage is a thing of the old. Marriage is not something that should be instituted. And now, the day and age we're living in, the marriage is made a mockery of. We've got to open our eyes, people. This battle is right in front of us to a point where it's not even trying to hide anymore. It's say, I am here. What are you going to do about it? Continues. Create division, foster doubt through intellectualism. These are the people that the know-it-alls. Start denying God's existence as a means of intellect. How lost are people? Go to the next slide. These are the 10 things he say. Make sin seem harmless. Make sin seem harmless. You see? He just, these are things that we talked about, I promise you. We discussed all of these things. Sin doesn't hurt you right away, or it doesn't seem like this is something that will harm you right away. It's once you lose your crown, that's when you really, really feel like you missed out. Promote self-sufficiency. I can do it all by myself. Offer counterfeit spiritually. We talked about this. There's people healing through the stones, healing through their own herbalistic things. You can do the ridiculous things just to avoid coming to God, to you, your creator. If my phone breaks, right, I go to the Apple store. Why? That's who created it. I'm not going to go to the Samsung store. I'm not going to go to the people that fix TVs. No, they didn't create it. If this is broken, I'll go to the creator, right? If we're broken, if something is off, let us go back to our creator. And then I think it concludes with delay conviction. You say, whisper, you can get God with later. And then, again, things we talked about. You have time. You're young, or you have time. You can get right once you've settled down, once you're calm. No, the time to fight is now because the battle has started, folks. We have got to put on an armor of God. And understand there is benefits. There is so much we can reap out of going through these spiritual walls. Let's not be afraid of them because God is with us. And I pray that, this series has been as edifying as been for me to you as well. That is my time. All glory to God. Wasbat like Zabir.